Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I am super excited to be here. All right, now it is in fact a beautiful Wednesday morning, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. So make sure to stay tuned and make sure to let me know what your thoughts and opinions are. All right, you can get in touch with me, and you can text me or call me and share your thoughts with me, so I will be informed, and you will be informed as well with everything that is happening. All right, so all you need to do is just text me or call me on 078-52473-473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, because I would love to hear everything that you have to say. All right, and while you're at it, something else that you can actually do is to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually make sure that you are always informed and updated by staying updated through the Relax Radio social media pages. All right, because you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, and what better way is there for you to actually stay informed and updated about all of these things other than staying tuned to Relax Radio. All right, so don't forget to download that app either, because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, and that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're listening into the conversation from wherever you are in the world at any time of the day. Okay, now let's actually head into today's conversation, because we're going to be talking about if coronavirus is on the rise again, right? Especially here in the United Kingdom. Now we know that July 19, they basically lifted all of these restrictions that were there. Things we basically went back to how things were before the pandemic, right? Sure, there were a few guidelines that we still had to stick to, like, for example, if you are having functions, events in Indo, you obviously have to wear masks, right? And especially, if you're hosting, big music festivals, big events and whatnot, you sort of need to get permission. You sort of need to get permission from the government before you do that, and that was just in Scotland, right? So these are just a few of the guidelines that were in place, but people were still asked to take those precautions that they took to essentially sanitize, wear the mask, and socially distance, because if not, it's going to be very hard to stop the spread of COVID-19, right? But now, if after everything's, slowly gotten back to normal, we've opened up our country for tourists, and we basically, have tourists coming in as well. We've actually seen a rise in coronavirus cases, right? Now, then, in my opinion, at least, then everything that we tried to do these past few months is basically all for nothing, right? Because, we work so hard to get people vaccinated. We work so hard to make sure that people were safe and protected from the pandemic. And now, ever since the country opening up, ever since tourists coming to the United Kingdom, we've basically had an influx in all of these coronavirus cases, right? So in fact, instead of flattening the curve, we've really just been, increasing the curve, right? And basically that is what has happened. All right. Now make sure to stay tuned to the conversation, because I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this as well. And don't feel shy to text me or call me on 078-524-73473. All right. Now deaths from COVID-19 are actually now averaging 100 a day across the United Kingdom, and this is according to official data, right? And scientists have actually warned that case rates will actually jump again when millions of pupils return to schools next week. Now we know that schools are going to open next week, and this is after multiple disruptions, multiple lockdowns as well. These students have constantly been going back and forth with regard to school, with regard to getting their education, and that was the bubble system that we tested as well. However, that didn't work out too well. And that is why they wanted to get school children vaccinated, especially children below the age of 18. So that was 16 and 17-year-olds. And now, they have also been given approval to vaccinate 12 to 17-year-olds, or rather there has been a green light that was given for the Moderna vaccine for 12 to 17-year-olds as well, right? So in instances like that, we know that our teachers, the government, actually everyone is trying to make sure that kids can get back to school without any disruption in their education, because we've already experienced way too much of that. All right. Now, the 7-day average for deaths within the 28 days of a positive test now actually stands at 100, and these figures were in fact released by Public Health England on Monday, and they actually show that a number that was last exceeded on 18th March, right? So the last time we had such an influx of COVID-19 cases was in March, and now it's August, and we're seeing those numbers again. So then, if anything, you can see that there has been an increase in all of these cases, right? Now, although the vaccination program means deaths are actually far below the peaks of last winter, the highest daily total was in fact 1,248. And this was reported on 23rd January. And it is in fact a notable rise from the late May and early June, where when they were consistently in single figures. All right. So we basically had, single figures, but now we have figures that are pretty much double. Right now, confirmed infection numbers have also started to rise once more following a dramatic fall in mid-July, with basically 31,914 cases that were reported on Monday. Okay, so this 7-day average figure having increased 13% from a week before. So from last week to this week, there's actually been a 13% increase, right? And hospitalizations have also risen from 672 on 31st July to actually 948 on 17th August, right? So if anything, this actually shows a need as to why we need to follow the rules and regulations, why we still need to make sure that we're doing what we can to protect ourselves, to protect our families as well. All right. And now let's actually head into a break, because after that we will be back to discuss more of this. So until then, make sure you stay tuned.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one, because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. That's very important, right? Because you want cars,
very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is Sarah on the Sunrise, and I'm super excited to share my thoughts, to share my opinions with you, because we're having a very important conversation about whether coronavirus is on the rise again. All right, now this obviously isn't positive news, or it's not something to be excited about, because clearly we don't want to go back to that stage of a lockdown. We don't want to go back to this whole, this whole lockdown when we were stuck at home. We had to work from home, and we basically couldn't draw the distinction between working, between your personal life and your work life, right? And then we had our bosses thinking it was completely fine for them to give us multiple, a lot of work for us to finish within the few hours of the day, simply because we were working from home. Like, no, that's not okay, and I don't think that's legal either, right? But however, none of us actually want to get back to that lockdown. Like, sure, when the lockdown initially began, for the first few weeks, I enjoyed it, but not afterwards, right? Because I really didn't like I really didn't like being stuck at home, and I couldn't go out and meet my friends. And I'm in my 20s. I'm not supposed to be stuck at home. I mean, 20s are supposed to be all about fun and going out. You know what it is. So that is at least my thoughts on it right now. Before I head back into our conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of this show. All right, all you need to do is just text me or call me on 078-524-73473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, but also something else that you can actually do is to go like us on Facebook. Now you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about everything that happens in the world just by following us on our socials. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube either, because that way you can listen into all of our live videos from wherever you are. Okay, and even our app is available for download, and it's completely free of charge. All right, so make sure to go download the app because it's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, and that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about everything that happens. So don't forget to do that as well. And now let's actually head back into our conversation. Okay, we were talking about if coronavirus is on the rise again, and there was also a comment, that I got, and Amlak Sahib actually says, people should just avoid gathering for music events until the situation dies out, to be honest, right? And I honestly agree with you. Why do you want to go to a music event in the middle of the pandemic? I don't know, man. Just take it down a notch. Just maybe stay at home for a little bit and try to focus on your health and focus on taking care of yourself and your family. And then once the pandemic dies down, maybe then you can go for a music event, right? Because it's not like you're going to suffocate to death if you don't go for a music event, right? So basically that is my opinion about it as well. Now don't be shy to share your opinions because I would love to hear it, and you can text me on the comments as well, and I will obviously let people know what you're thinking. So please do get in touch with me and share your thoughts and opinions with me. Okay, now to actually, like I said, to head back into our conversation, I told you we've seen this increase. It's a significant increase here in the United Kingdom, right? Now, like I said, we saw how the rates of hospitalization actually increased. And in addition to all of that, we have this concern, or this expectation of increased infection rates when students return to schools and colleges across England, Northern Ireland, and Wales, which basically is going to happen next week. All right, so we're expecting increased infection, and this is something that's expected. It's not going to be something surprising as well. Okay, now cases in Scotland, where most pupils went back last week, have actually risen very, very dramatically because it was 799 on the 2nd of August, and it was 3,190 on Sunday, right? And Sunday was the 22nd of August. So within the span of 20 days, we've basically seen the rate of infection almost triple, right? Yeah, we've basically seen it almost triple. Sorry, I was doing the mental math, and you know how it is. I'm not that great at math, but it has almost tripled, right? And while the return of schools obviously may have played a role in the rise, it's unlikely to be the only factor as they reopened so recently. All right. I mean, obviously, the reason that these coronavirus cases are on the rise isn't only because of schools reopening, but it is in fact obviously so many other things as well. Because you can't forget the fact that Scotland reopened its country. Scotland reopened the country, and Scotland also has some of those tourism. If travelers come to Scotland, those rules that are still in place in Scotland as well. All right. So obviously, we know that schools opening up wasn't the only thing that contributed to it. Now, some scientists have actually warned that a likely increase in COVID cases in autumn and winter, coupled with other viruses, could actually require the return of mitigation measures such as face masks, right? Now, here's the thing, all right? In my opinion, I just feel like face masks can be something that, it should be something that's normalized, right? Because the truth is, in Japan, actually, every time you get sick, if you have a flu or something, people will always wear the mask. So for Japan, they were already living in the future because they anyway used to wear masks every time they had the flu, right? And I honestly just feel like you should definitely just normalize wearing the masks because you basically are going to breathe a much cleaner, much safer air because you're going to get that added protection from the mask. And B is that you don't have to interact with people, and if you know what I mean, is whenever you see someone, you have to be nice and smile to them, and sometimes that can get tiring, but if you wear a mask, no one's going to know if you're smiling at them or you're cursing at them. Really, it gives you so much of freedom to do what you want to do. So I for one just think that masks should be normalized, and ultimately it's a personal choice. So you shouldn't have to be violent towards someone just because they're wearing a mask and you don't agree with the fact that they're wearing a mask, because believe me, that kind of thing has happened here in the United Kingdom as well. So if anything, masks should be something that is normalized, something that people can wear, and you're not going to get stigmatized for it. All right, now that is what that is about. So basically in terms of coronavirus being on the rise again, we've seen how much this has changed. But obviously, make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break right now, and after that we will be back to discuss more about this. So until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be? So that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return, and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And